Budgie Naboo. She's like my kid. So anyway, I am doing this in my basement. She decided she's gonna growl until she gets to come down, so that's why she's in the shot right now. So I'm just gonna put her down and then we're gonna get started. Okay, this week's art challenge. What I did is I was looking around my house and I was thinking about items that you might have in your house that you can use to create art. So the last time I was at school, I grabbed this book. It's called Painting Party. It's by Anna Bartlett. So I was going through it and I opened up the first page and I saw this amazing little budgie and I thought that would be fun. It doesn't look that hard, and I think if you look around your house or areas where you can get things from, I'll talk about my supplies here in a minute, and we'll go from there. The items that you're going to need today, please make do with whatever you have at home. Don't feel like you need to go out and shop. I will explain where things came from. Amazon's been pretty good. They're getting things here within a week, but if you can make it to Dollarama, Walmart has these things. I'm not using anything special. You can use house paint if that's what you have in your house. Cereal boxes, you can cut out around them and use the back of the board on the cereal box. That would work just fine too. I don't know, anything that comes in boxes that has that thicker cardboard, that would work really well. I bought my canvases and I have these at home because I don't know when the inspiration is going to strike me, but they come from Michael's. They come in 6-packs. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy these. I'm sure you have things. Paper will work just fine. If you want to work along and do it in felt or colored pencil, what we're going to do today, you certainly can. It's just going to have a different result, which is kind of cool because it's at home. It's for you too. So that's where these come from. They're about $20 for a pack of 6, but I am not in any way endorsed by Michael's. I don't get paid to do anything, so they come like this. You just simply open them. Some are wrapped in plastic, some aren't. And they come in different sizes, which is cool. And I've seen them in black as well, but I haven't actually painted on a black canvas yet. So that's that. Then, like I was saying, supplies at home. Look around your house. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy the art supplies. Try it. If you decide that you want to do painting as a hobby, then maybe you're going to go out and invest in things like paint palettes. These you can get, sometimes the dollar store is like Dollarama. That's where you can get a lot of these things for cheap. Leftover paint plates from parties. Those will work too. Paint trays. I do love a good paint tray. A cup of water totally works too, but you have to be careful you don't drink out of the paint water cup. Every artist has done it. So if you're going to use a cup, like a coffee cup or something, make sure it's designated, make sure your water's in one space and your paint cup is in another, because everybody I know has done it. So, I know. This is the paint water trays that are my absolute favorite. I think I ordered this off Spectrum. I'm not sure. I'm sure you could find something similar on Amazon. They do carry some round ones at Michael's, but I just love the shape of this one. It's got this cool little accordion area to like brush your paint off. It's got your paintbrush area, and there's a spot to rest your brushes in the water. Now paints. These are the kind I use with students, the Chrome Acryl student acrylics. They work really well. They're probably like a medium level market entry. If you go to Dollarama, or sorry, I keep saying them, but you can get these kind of paints. They work just fine. You can get these at a number of other craft stores. You give them a shake. Really make sure and shake them up well. Sometimes they've been sitting on the shelf a long time, so they may have all of the paint sitting at the bottom and the water has come out and it's sitting at the top. So if you're buying paints that are a little bit cheaper, just give them a good shake. You may need a little bit more of them, but they work just fine. These are the Liquitex acrylics. I really like them. You get a lot of colors. Price isn't too bad. They're really great. I use them a lot when I do the pour paintings where you add different chemicals and make bubbles in them. Yeah, so those are great. And then we get up into the heavier quality. These are the ones, this Liquitex, this is the professional ones. I don't really use them for these paint when I'm testing out doing paint party type paintings, because I'm not even sure I'm going to like the painting. I don't know if I'm going to hang it up in my house or not. So I like to test them out with these kind of paints that you see here. Okay, so I've gone and I've assembled my colors. I took a look at the picture. I don't have all the paint colors, so I'm going to show you ways that you can alternate. Like, you don't have to keep these colors. Change them. Make it yours. So this is the picture of the budgie. So when I looked at the colors and the closest thing I have, I realized I'm gonna have to do some mixing. So what I did is I went through my paint colors that I have here at my house, and then I was like, okay, I can add white to make that color, and it's gonna have to be this color to do that color with it. So the closest, I've got a yellow here, I've got orange, and these are like the primary and secondary color oranges, and yellows. Use whatever you have. Red is primary red. I have a green here, I have this teal color, and I have purple here. Then the next colors that I have are white and black, which aren't really colors. This is my tint, this is my shade. So I can use this. This is used at the very end. I don't think anything we need for this painting is gonna need black till we're doing the outlining, and that's the very last thing we're gonna do. So don't ever start with black. With paintings like this, they always come at the end. Once you add black, it's really hard to paint over it if you make an error. White, we can add white to the red to make pink. We can add it to any of the other colors to lighten them up if they're going to be too dark for this painting. So I'm going to go now and I'm going to put them on my paint palette, and I'll be right back and we'll get started with the underpainting. The underpainting is going to need time to dry in between coats, and if you're wondering why am I not working with the easel, I will here in a minute, but I just want to show you a tip that I actually received from doing paint parties for other people, and somebody said you should wet the canvas before you start working. Once I did that, I was like, wow, the paint spreads a lot. It makes your paint go farther, and it gives it that nice watery appearance. So like I say, I'm always learning from students and things, so if something works for you, please share it with me in the comments so that I can use that technique, or email me and let me know how it works for you. So what I'm gonna do, first thing, just dipping a brush, large brush. I think you can get like a 3-pack of these in different sizes for like under $6. So again, your paint brushes for your house, you know, those large paint brushes you paint walls with and trim, that would work just fine too. So all I'm gonna do is just add water to this, and then we're gonna move into underpainting, and I'm gonna put it on the easel then. Okay, so we've got it like that. I'm gonna stop this and we're gonna set up the easel, and then we'll get going with the underpainting. Okay, so here's where the fun part comes in. Now, what we could have done to start with is we could have taken a pencil and drawn the pencil line. I mean, that's okay, but it's painting and it's like, it's fun. It's going to be not perfect, but let's start from there. So I have taken, the canvas is wet. I did not, like, it's not soaking wet, it's damp. I can still see some of the water, it's already drying. So what I'm looking at doing is I'm gonna start with the background. So it looks like I have my colors here, if you can see them. I have this green. I can test it out, but my suspicion is my green is a little bit, it's not bad. If I did it watery, it's definitely gonna be more teal than their color. If I wanted that blue, I would just add, if I had blue, I would add it to it. I don't have blue, so I'm not gonna worry about it. The other way I can do this is add some white to it. The ones I love working with are the plastic plates that you can buy at the dollar store. They work great because you get this really nice big in the middle. I take a blank one that's just empty, and I like to mix my colors on it, but I checked in my back closet, and of course I don't have any right now. So what I'm gonna do is just work, see this roundabout way here, and I wanna get that on here. So if you're finding out your canvas was a little too dry, if it's too wet, don't add any water to your brush. If it's not wet enough, I'm just dipping my brush in some water here. And so I'm finding I prefer it pretty watery. It's giving it this really nice effect. It's not quite watercolor, but the other pet peeve of mine, if you've ever been in a class of mine and you're finished your artwork and you come to me, what I usually tell students and adults that take my painting classes, you need to go back in and paint the side, because nothing worse than, you know, you've got this beautiful painting and it's hanging on the wall and you can see the edge of it hasn't been painted. Because I know so many people have done these paint parties and that's what happens. And it just doesn't look good. It's just my own personal opinion. The other thing you could do is at the very end, you could take like black or another color, maybe a purple or, you know, something that's in the painting and paint the edge of it, but not white, because that's boring. So just going around here, if it messes up, like I need that area for the actual budgie, it's okay because this should be light enough that I should be able to paint over it. I mean, we've got this huge area of white. We can just put some white in there and fix that up. in a minute. So I'm gonna finish painting this. I will come back here in about a minute, and then we'll work on the inside of this. Finished doing those colors, like the color blocking that's in there. For me, I prefer definitely adding more water to the paint, just to give it that nice watery effect. You can see, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on the camera, but there is some brush strokes there. That's fine, that's kind of cool. It's neat to have that and then have this be the darker area here. So the next step that we're going to do is I washed my brush, I set it aside. I'm now moving into, this is a 3/4 inch. This is called a flat brush. You can see the difference, a flat brush and a round brush. Usually I will tell students some numbers and then I will give them a brush number. So this is a round brush and you can see it's round. This is a flat brush, okay? We're not gonna get into huge technical things, but I can explain what I'm using so that you have some idea what will work better. And it's always experimenting with different brushes to see what's gonna work. So what I wanna do now is I'm going to work from probably light to dark, except for the white. It looks like they've done the white last. The reason I'm saying that is because I can see some splatters at the bottom, which is really cool. I almost feel like she probably just took a brush and just went poof and just pulled it up and let it be all drippy like that. What I'm gonna do is take the yellow, start from my lightest colors, not the white, but the yellow here. I'm probably gonna have to use orange instead of pink, and then I'm gonna go into the purple. I might do an orange red. Yeah, that'll be yellow, orange, red, and then into this purple color here. And I'm going to just color block into this area. So don't get too tied up in the technical aspect of, you know, is it perfect at that point? Just try and get those colors so that they're blocked in here, okay? I'll start off with the yellow. So I'm gonna wet my brush before I dip it into the yellow paint. I'm just gonna wipe off the excess water. I don't want it dripping wet. I want it so that I can just, like, if I wipe it on my hand there with clean, it's damp, but it's not soaked. So I'm gonna go in with the yellow, okay? I'm gonna just remove some of the excess that's on here. This is where if you have like a plastic plate, a regular plate, this is non-toxic paint, so you can easily use the paints, the plates that are in your cupboard and then wash them off later. So what I wanna do is just go in there and look and see where that yellow is. I love it, it's very bright. Okay, and I'm just gonna go down. It looks like they did it right to the bottom. Working on that edge of the white line that I just left here. This Casper the Ghost is gonna go away. And let your marks be choppy. So you might wanna vary between using the brush on the flat end and using it like on the side and getting some neat effects that way. So have a look. I wouldn't go terribly deep with the brush, like wide, I mean in terms of your strokes here. Okay, and then I'm going over to the other side. It looks like over here, we've got a little bit of yellow coming around the face. So I'm just gonna add that there. And it looks like they might have added a little bit coming off the side of the body. And I might just bring a little bit into that overlap so it's not a perfect sharp line that's overlapping the background. And no, I haven't let this dry, it's still wet on the background, so I don't want to touch that right now. But I'm gonna just come in and think about where the wings would go, so it would be thicker up here, thinner down here. Okay, so moving away from the yellow, one of my favorite things to do is go into, if you understand color theory, Roy G. Biv is your best friend. So it's red, orange, yellow. So if you blend the orange, because on the color wheel, orange is the color that, you know, comes right after yellow. So if you blend those colors together, and I'm just gonna go over to this area here, and I'm gonna end up with a lighter orange, like a yellow orange, and I'm just gonna come around. Might end up looking like a parrot. And bringing that all the way down. And again, chippy brush strokes, I kind of like that right now. It might change, I don't know, but I'm gonna keep that for the time being. And then over on this side where that yellow is, it comes around too. And I like that. So I'm just gonna go back in and chip some of the yellow, and by chipping, this is all I'm talking about. It's the technique word I'm using, is I'm just going back over some of that orange I just created. So it's giving me a softer line, so it's not such a sharp, I mean, that's a cool effect, and if you get that, keep it if you like it. It's just, this is just another technique that takes your painting just a little bit more past that beginner level. Okay, then we're moving into, this is orange, that's pink, okay? So from there, I want to move into, I might do a little bit of red with the orange. So I'm just gonna go in there, and where I've got this purpley color, mine's gonna be more of a red violet than that purple, but I just wanna go in here. And that is my dog grunting up the stairs if you can hear her. She sounds like a little pig right now oinking, but that's grunt. Okay, I like what's happening there. I'm gonna just head over here. And the chipping action is fun. So I'm just gonna keep doing it down here because I like it. Okay, so I'm moving from that. So I've got, that's my purple pink there. So I am gonna go in now with the red and violet, and that's purple. It's just actually called violet on the bottle. So I have this spot here, so I'm just gonna take some red, some violet, and we're gonna end up kind of with a maroon color. Hopefully it's pretty. Sometimes maroon looks more brown than purpley red, which I like. Okay, I'm gonna go in here. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, and then I think what I need to do now is finish this off with the more of the purple here. That I might do more of a reddy purple that blends down, but I'm just gonna fill in this area here, going right in. I'm just gonna use the center of my palette. As you notice, I haven't cleaned up my brush. If you work from lighter to darker, what I find is you don't have to spend so much time cleaning your brush. However, if you cross-contaminate between yellow and purple, you're gonna end up with mud. Because on the color wheel, these are complementary colors, meaning they look the best together on the color wheel. But when you mix them together, it's supposed to be gray. It actually comes out more like a brown color. So we don't want to have that. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen here. So try and avoid touching those two colors because they don't blend very well together. And it's always a learning process, but you'll get the hang of it. All right, and then I just kind of like to chip into those colors that I just did. That may change, I'm not sure. So you can see this is why these are student acrylics, because they don't have quite the same consistency as a thicker, like if you're wondering the difference between a student acrylic and a professional acrylic, it doesn't always work that way, but professional is a little bit thicker, a little bit creamier when you use it. The less quality paints tend to be a little more watery is what I find. Not always the case, but generally that's what you can expect. If you're wondering when you get there and you're like, should I spend the money on the professional quality? I'm like, work with you can get good results. It's the artist, it's not really the paints, because I've given kids crayons and they've created beautiful work. So it's, you know, get good at the quality first, like get good, build your skills, then go get the quality. I mean, if you've got the money and want to do it, go ahead, but don't feel like you have to start with good quality. Start with building your skills first, then go get those good quality ones. And an easy method, if this happens, like it's really watery to me right now, this might just still be wet. But if that is, all I would let this do is dry and recoat it. And I'll talk about recoating here because there is some things to consider when you are recoating, because I have had students recoat and then the paint comes off and they're recoating and they're like, ah! So that's an issue of not adding more water if you have to recoat something to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm just gonna bring this down. We're gonna come back and have a look at this. I think it's ready for the white. So I'm gonna wash my brush, come back, check on this. So this part is already dry. It is so dry in Alberta that this dries so quickly. So purple's not dry yet, but the rest of it is looking pretty well dry. Grabbed this paintbrush again, the flat one, and I also grabbed a clean palette. I still have my one over there. I don't want to wash it because I'm going to probably need it again. But the thing is, when you're working with white paint, it's catching these other colors can be detrimental. Like even when I was grabbing this one and I went to wipe it, I accidentally bumped the orange paint and I got orange in it. And I'm like, if I get orange, this is gonna look like orange sherbet. So what I want to do is go through this with white paint. I'm just using the same acrylic paint that I had before. However, I don't want to add any water to it because it looks like it's quite thick on there. And what I'm hoping, you have to make sure that if you're going to put it over this area, the bottom area needs to be dry. So of course, while I was off camera, I was adding some more purple to that. So that might cause a problem for me in a minute here. We'll see what happens. But again, it's an experiment to see how this was done exactly because I don't have the actual instructions for it, but I'm looking at it and dissecting it. And I think I've got a pretty good idea here. So what I'm doing is just taking the white paint and just gonna go through and start at the top. And you're probably not gonna see very much, and come over what I just did. So what we want to do is cover that edge that we've just created for the body of the bird. So I'm going to come around this side. And I have a feeling if you share your pictures with me, we all have different shapes. That's fine. It's a pretty artistic budgie. I don't think it's really true to what a actual budgie looks like, but it has the essence of a budgie. So let's go with that. So this is where you can sharpen that line for the background. And then just come around. Could be a bald clown as well. I'm liking what's happening when the white goes over those colors and it just catches them. I don't want to bring that color into the center. That could be problematic here, like that. But I'm working my way down, so I'm going to end up having to blend that together. If you get some of that color where you don't want it, make sure quickly pick up a paper towel if you have them. And I mean, you could use an old shirt or something like that. I can't guarantee it'll wash out, but it's, yeah, let's hope it works for you. So I'm going to bring this down. And that oops that happened right there, that's okay. And I just keep dipping straight into the white paint and coming out. And I kind of like the way she's done a lighter brush stroke there. This is challenging if you're new to painting, and it's like, it's just catching the edge of the brush on the canvas here. And it's like, it's the set amount of paint. Too much water, it'll look too runny. Not enough, it doesn't quite work. It's challenging. It's kind of a guess and test until you get something that works. And if you do, share it with us so that other people know. Okay, I think we have it. I'm just gonna add some white paint here. I'm gonna dab my brush in the water. And I'm gonna just try and add some water to this white paint. Recipe isn't really one. It's like add water. We're just trying to water down the white paint. What I've done when I'm doing large groups like classes, I will take and do this on like in a cup, and then have a station set up where people can come and do it, and it's like have lots of like something plastic sheeting up so that it can be splattered and it won't go all over the wall. But for this, I'm trying to do it super softly here. So you can either take a brush like this, or like a regular thick paintbrush, like a 2-inch brush for trim around the house. I'm going to wet the brush, and I'm just gonna take out some of the extra water. I'm going to dab it I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll have to see. I'm experimenting. I'm dabbing the brush like this, and then if you take the brush, put it there, and there's some splatter here, but I think that was how she held the brush, but I wanna, that one gave it a really fine, other than me flicking, which if I wet the brush probably more, I'm gonna dip it right into white. And let's see. It's a really cool galaxy effect. It's not quite what she did. I mean, it's like flicking the brush like that, but I still kind of like it. I'm gonna continue it. And this is the easiest way to camouflage errors that you've done on there. Put splatter on it to draw the people's eyes someplace else. Now, it looks like she's got some fingerprints there. I almost feel like this is what she did. You can dip your brush into other colors and mix them around together. But this is an easy, I'm just dipping and fingerprinting. How thick do you want them? It's up to you. So if I want some pink ones in there, let's see if I can mix with my finger. Mine look kind of orange. And dot. It's giving it kind of a cool effect. And let's go in with some red. And I'm going to wipe my finger off. It looks like I'm seeing some green now. So I'm going to use all that paint that I took, which was obviously way too much. And I'm just going to put some here and here. Let's see, there's some over here that I thought looked kind of cool. I really like this effect. It's so easy, but it looks so good. To me, anyway. And looks like they put in some white with it. That green. And maybe just find another area. I don't have the steadiest hand, but that's okay. Even I can do it. So, like that. It looks like my last color is going to be yellow. So I'm just going to clean my finger. Go in with some yellow. And I see an area that I have not touched up with the white yet, so I'm going to do that. Move to yellow there. Looks like there was a yellow here. I see some spots up here that they have kind of a pinky color. So, nothing like finger painting. So up here there was some pink. Yeah, that looks pretty good. To me, anyway. Okay, so we got that part. Now, when I'm looking at the edge of the book, it looks like she's got some white over here, so I'm just gonna pop back in, wipe my brush off, dip into the white, and come over here. And just pull down some white. There we go, just like that. Okay, now I think we are in dry time, and then we need to come back. We can try that. Actually, I might go on to doing that right now. I'm just looking from a distance. I see mine is up a lot higher than I think the picture, but we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna say it's a happy accident. And if you oops it, we also have the black that's going to outline it later, so don't get too caught up in that. But I would like to darken it at the bottom, which I think is going to take some drying. I'm going to take some pure white and just wash the purple off my brush. If you keep working with the same amount of paint in your brush, it's just going to end up like muddy and all the same color. So you have to like wipe your brush off. And I dipped mine in water and then I just dried it off. Now I'm just gonna put a couple highlights on the top. And be careful, because you drag your brush through it, then you're going to end up with that purple Easter egg again, which we're trying to avoid. So what I might do is let it dry and then add a bit more. I don't know, you keep messing with it until you get something you're happy with. Okay, let's clean the brush. And again, if you were wondering what kind of brush I'm using, I like the flat brushes. They cover more area, but this is a smaller flat brush. If you want a number, this is a number 10 flat brush. So they all should have similar. This has orange, yellow, some white in there, and some black. So best thing to do, start out with yellow, do the entire triangular shape of the beak, then work into adding orange and yellow, and then working into orange, and then coming back and putting the white highlight in. So that's kind of the walk you through, what did you just say? This is how I'm gonna do this. So I do have the white underneath of it already, like my paint's still wet. I could go away, let it dry, but for me, for the sake of time, I wanna keep going on it. This part is dry. If you're working up and down, if you're working flat, you might find it easier to work. I'm working vertical with the canvas, so I just have to watch, and I'm left-handed, so it's like double strike against me. So I'm just gonna come down. If you are like me and do not have a steady hand, you can put your hand on the canvas, but it has to be dry. If you go through and like find out that your canvas, you know, you're like this, you're not gonna have a steady hand. So I am not steady, but if I put my hand like this, and I can also, if I put the paint palette down, I can hold my hand as well to keep it steady, but I just need that guide that's there. So just coming in, trying to get a triangle shape that's not, it's kind of like if you said upside down shark fin, that would be more what it looks like. So rather than just doing a triangle and then you end up with like the jack-o'-lantern look, go for more of like an upside down shark fin. So one side is rounded, the other side's a little rounded too, but it does make a triangle. Then take your yellow, fill it in. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in with the yellow, and I see it's a little bit sharper to me on this side, so I'm gonna try and thicken the paint there. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in and add some orange, like a touch of orange. Orange will get away from me really quickly with the yellow, and if you want, you can blend it a little bit more off to the side. Let's see what that looks like. It just gives it a little bit more depth. Not that you can see it probably very well on the camera. So I'm gonna add some more until I end up with kind of a beet color orange over here. I don't like how muddy it's looking. And go back over top of it. Maybe I'll try adding red to the yellow and see if I can get it a little more vibrant. And again, it's like slowly build up your color until you get something you're happy with. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've got this weird little creature happening inside that is supposed to be the beak. We'll come back to that. So I think we're ready to move on to black things as soon as the canvas is dry here. So we're just gonna give it about 15 minutes to set up at this point, and then we're gonna come back with black and finish her up. And that's it. I'm just going back over the beak part. I'm not sure what these are called, but any part. This part, adding some white to that. I did go in and I just thickened up around the base a little bit. I added some more white feathers, just using white paint, going over what I had already created. So while this part is drying, this part down here, mostly, careful, appears to be dry somewhat, that I can start adding the black parts, the black shapes that are happening there. So I have a couple options for you. I guess you could try, I know people at school like to take Sharpie markers and outline things. You could, however, Sharpie doesn't always set up very nicely on here, and then at the end of the day, if you accidentally run your hand through it, it doesn't look quite right. So I wouldn't use Sharpie marker. I know it's an easy fix and that could be a really quick way. If you're doing a drawing, this could be a beautiful chalk pastel, this could be a beautiful oil pastel drawing that you would, you know, apply those techniques to. If you're doing felt, that's where you would use the Sharpie, is to go over it with felt at the end. If this was in pencil crayon and then you did that, that could look really cool as well. But what I wanted to point out, I just went and got another brush. There are options for these. The finer brushes, the more control you will have, but you can see these aren't super neat. They're kind of like messy. So I would experiment with what works for you. So options are, you can go with like a round brush. I thought I brought a really fine brush, but like there's like the zero brushes, which are like the tinier brushes that have, they're round and they're only like, you know, a quarter of the thickness of this one. So this is a 6 round brush. This is a 10 flat brush, and this is a 6 flat brush. So I'm almost thinking the 6 flat brush, because what I like about flat brushes, you would think a round brush would make a good circle. It does, but it takes a little bit more to it. Whereas these ones, they're already flat. So if you spin that in a circle, you're already gonna end up with that. So somewhere it's like your experimentation between these 3 brushes of which one's gonna work best for you. So I really wanna start at the eyes, but I know it's not dry yet and I'm gonna end up with gray if I start messing around trying to put black in there. So the one other thing that I wanted to say is if you have access to it, these are fantastic. This, I said don't use Sharpie pens. This is a Sharpie paint pen. I believe they come in acrylic and they come in oil-based. This is an oil-based one. However, your paint has to be dry or it's gonna end up wrecked. I'm really resisting the urge to use this because this would be the fastest and you know, it would look really good. It gives you lots of control. However, they're kind of pricey. So that's the offset to choosing them. It's up to you what you want to use. But for, you know, you already have black paint, the cheapest option is, you know, using the black paint, experimenting with what brush you have. I would not use a huge brush to do it. Start with a smaller brush and then move up on the brushes and go from there. So best place to start is, you know, these little blobs that are here. If you mess up on them, doesn't matter. They're not beautiful to begin with. So I'm going to start with the number 6 flat brush. I grabbed my black paint. I found my 000 tiny brush. So this is a, like your equivalent of a fine liner pen that you would be using, is dipping the paint in there. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to take it off the canvas, off the easel here, sit down at the table and do it and come back because it's just hard with the camera and the angle to try and show you. But I'm going to start with these so that you can get the idea here. So looking to see, it looks like they've got 1, 2 really big ones and then it's like 4 smaller ones like medium size and then the rest like about 6 more of the little tiny circle shapes there. So what I'm going to do is just go in, find a spot. It looks like they did one over here. Start with my brush, and this is like kind of fun, is like don't be perfect circles, ovals. Try and keep them a little bit jagged. And so there's one over here. Yeah, I like this brush a lot for this. It's giving me the effect that I want and I'm quite happy with it. So just continuing on. So those were the 2 larger ones and I can go back in and make it a little bit bigger if I want. And by large, I'm like, here's my thumb. They're about the size of that. Okay. And then it looks like they put one there. Oh, these are easy. I like when painting's easy because it's not always easy. And it looks like they've just taken and put a couple dollops of paint on there. Oh, that's fun. All right, got 1, 2, big one, littler one, little. We need one over here. I'm gonna put mine over here because that doesn't match where my dots have been put. Okay, and maybe one more up here. There, done. Okay, wow, that was easy. Next part, I'm gonna do this line here. And the cool thing, if you look at the actual brush stroke that's here, it's like you push down on the paint and then lighten up with your brush. You learn to use your brush a little bit differently than you would, you know, pencils, things like that. If you put it down, let it drag, and then as you get to the bottom of your line, just lift up. And if you messed up, just go back. But what we're trying to do is just create a different kind of line. I don't want to mess with that too much. Okay, so I got that. This area appears to be dry. What I want to do is avoid hitting these when I come in for this part of the wings. So should I start at the top or the bottom? How How am I doing? My white is actually dry, so I want to get the eyes in because I feel like if I put the eyes, if I do this and then I've messed up on that, this is gonna look funny. So it has to fall somewhere between the nose, like the beak, and up here on the edge of the like egg head that we've created here. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start creating some circles. And I'm like, start small, and then we can branch out from there. So if you saw that, what I just did is like use the brush and work in a circle. You can always go back and make it bigger. This is where we'll end up with like, everybody will have different eye sizes, but that's okay. It's fine. So that side, he's so cute. Okay, and then this side. And let's have a look at that. This eye definitely needs to come down. Ladies, it's kind of like doing your eyeliner. You get the one side just perfect and then you got to go back to the other side and do it again. That looks all right. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. All right, I'm gonna come around now. So this is where that little tiny brush I showed you, if you don't have one, that's fine. You could do the, like you could still use this brush, but I want to go in with, just gonna put that down. And I'm gonna use this 000 brush to try and go around and get that detail. Because it's like, you always use a small brush and it ends up being a lot thicker than you really wanted it to be. Okay, so looking at the example one over here, it's not a full circle around the eye, it's actually 2 half circles that don't quite join up together. And they don't have to be perfect. It's like nice to have them thicker in some areas and thinner in others. And then go do the other side. And this side is like a backwards C. So I'm gonna do the best I can. It's the right side and I'm left-handed, so that's not cool. But I'll do the best I can. I'm gonna now go back to the flat brush that I was using before and just wipe off. I don't know if you guys have figured this out, but try not to cover the silver part of your paintbrush as you're painting because it ends up getting everywhere and then that just means you have too much paint on your brush. So now going back, I'm gonna re-dip the brush and it looks like I need 3 of these lines over the eyes. Put that dollop, I don't want it to run, which it looks like it might. So if you apply too much, just swirl your brush, put it on your palette, wipe off excess, and start again. Okay, so just like that, and then we're going to create some underneath. As I am here, I'm going to go back into the middle now. I'm hoping this is dry enough. And go around the outside edge of the nose. And then this is where you're not outlining the whole thing in black. Like, take a look at what you're doing. Slow down and don't just go, oh, that feels good, I want to go all the way around. Slow down, look at what you've created. Now this white, we want to create a shadow. And I'm just going around the bottom of it. And this is like, you know, if you're doing clouds, same idea. Like that. So I'm just going to continue on around the nose. Ooh. Make sure your hand is clean. And just want to outline just the left side. And don't make it a solid line, try and break it up a bit. There. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's continue with these lines here. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thereabouts. So they're gonna just continue from following these lines and then moving out to the wing. And just work with the shapes that you created, because mine don't fit that way, so I have to kind of create new lines for mine. There. Okay, so we got that part done. So I think the last thing that I want to do is add some white highlights to the eyes. If you notice, mine's looking a little dead right now. Secret to making everything look alive in your drawings is that white highlight. I mean, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, the more detail you can add to it. But your eyes should be completely dry before you do this. This one, I can see there's some color, like the black is still wet there, it's liquidy. So make sure my hand is clean, avoid all this black area. And there's 2, so I'm just going to go like this. They're not perfect circles. And then 1 below it, like that. And that is a huge tip. Okay. And I gotta avoid the wet part, so I'm just gonna build that up. And 1 right below it. There. And I think I'm done. There we go. There's Budgie. Enjoy. Okay, here is the finished work. If you like what you saw today, please like and subscribe, and I will consider making more of these videos in the future. For today, I would love it if you could email me and show me any of the pictures that you created based off of this. It would be great to see. And if you have any tips for me, please like and share. Thank you.